Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a Cricut Design Space tutorial on how to make a split monogram. I really wanted to do this tutorial today because with the holidays coming up, I think this is the perfect design for anything. You could apply vinyl to this, you could apply the etching cream that I did a video on, which is how to apply Armor Etch onto a wine glass, so I will link that card here if you want to look at that video. But basically this design is so cute and I can't wait to show you guys how I did it. And bear with me today because I'm actually recording the audio and recording the video at the same time. Usually I record the audio last and I'll record the video first. So this is the design that we are going to mirror for today. So you can choose any font that you'd like. I personally do like this kind of style font where it has the serifs. I think that's the correct way to say it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the S or whatever the last name is. So this is just a sample last name. So I'm going to type the letter S and it'll pop up as originally the Cricut Sans, but we don't want, oh, sans serif, I think that it is. I'm not sure. But we are using Baskerville today, which comes on basically everyone's computer, whether it's a Windows computer, whether it's a Mac computer. So the next thing is we're going to enter the last name. So for this one, I'm just going to do Smith, and I do all capitals. I think this just looks a little bit better. You can do the lowercase if you want. It's really personal preference. I just feel like Smith in all capitals looks a little bit better in my opinion. We're going to change the letter spacing. So I'm going to just add some spacing to here just so it's spaced out a little bit. I like to make it just a little bit bigger so I can see. And then you will click the lock button and you're going to unlock it, and that's how we can make it a little bit wider. You don't want to make it like too wide obviously because this looks very warped and weird, so you want to do it like just the right amount. Like I think this looks perfect. We're going to lock it again. You'll see that we want Smith probably like right here, but we're probably going to make it like a little bit smaller, like probably here. So what I like to do is I like to highlight both of these and I'm going to align them centered, and I'm going to align them vertically as well because that's exactly where you know where to slice it. Exactly what I just said now, you're going to slice this. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to get a rectangle. So I'm going to get a square and I'll change it to a rectangle, of course, by clicking the lock button and unlocking it. And then you want to make it big enough so it covers like all areas. So the length really doesn't matter because regardless, like you're not slicing anywhere over here. So let's, again, I'm gonna highlight all this and center horizontally and vertically, and you'll see here this looks like a good amount of space. Wherever the name is, I think, yep, this is it. I'm going to hide that. So we just have the S and we just have the square. So we can highlight both of these now and we can slice it. We remove this area, we remove the gray, and then we remove here. So you have this whole sliced area. Now we can see this looks really good here. I'm going to take another shape, which I'm going to make it a rectangle, but I'm going to make it these little lines right here. So you can click the unlock button and make it super small. This is also, it depends on how you want it to be. If you want it to be thicker, if you want it to be smaller, but the length does matter with this. I'll show you guys because I'm gonna keep centering and vertically doing this. Oh, I didn't want to vertically do that. So here, that just make sure that it's centered. It looks a little off in my opinion. You really want it to be as close as to here, a little bit, maybe a little bit off. You don't want it to be too close to here because it might look a little too short. So I'm just going to unlock it and make it slightly smaller, and I like this, I like it a little bit thicker, like there. And then you can see if we centered it horizontally, that looks a little better in my opinion. I think I want to make it, I'm going to be really picky here, just make it slightly smaller. So I'm going to center horizontally again, and I think that ooh, didn't mean to do that. That looks good to me. So now we're going to duplicate this and we're going to do the same thing. And again, we'll just center horizontally. And now the main thing is here, you want to zoom in because you want to make sure that there's no gap between the rectangle shape and the S. So to make it a little bit easier, we can change this to black. I'll change this to black so it's the same thing. And you can see that there really is no space here, and I did a fairly good job at that. So let's zoom out at that, and you'll have here. So we'll zoom out a little bit more. Now this looks a little big in my opinion, so what we can do is, I can weld everything and then just make it smaller, but this is just to see how it looks, just up close. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to hide this. Again, make sure that this is centered horizontally perfectly, and then we're going to group it, and then we're going to weld it. So before that, sometimes what I like to do is I like to, so I'll undo this for a sec. Oh, it's still welded. Okay, so you see here, once it's grouped, I like to just duplicate it and then hide it, because God forbid, because once you weld, you cannot undo a weld. So I like to just keep that as a backup just in case if I messed up. So, because I want to make sure. And now I have the text here. So now what we can do is center horizontally and vertically, and we can make it a little bit smaller, and voila. So you see here, this one was a little bit, like I made the text here a little bit smaller. I did the unlock button and I moved it up a little bit. That's really personal preference to you. Again, like it was really tight here. Like I wouldn't suggest making it this tight. Closer together here. That's honestly, again, like I said, personal preference. Like you can go like this, align it centered and vertically, and it'll be a little bit closer together. So that's really up to you and what you want to do. If you don't want to make it this big of a gap, you can also just readjust the way that you sliced it from the first time. So that first rectangle that we made, you can make that a little bit smaller, so that way the area for this is a little bit smaller, if that makes sense. This is basically how you do a split monogram. So again, if you wanted to just save this, you could group it and then weld it, and then this is your design. But I like to just not have that welded. So, and you could, if you want, if you make these often, you can simply make the S, make the A, make literally the whole alphabet if you wanted to, and just weld this part and not the text area. And that way you can just enter everyone's last name. If that's something that you do on your shop, by all means, that probably will make it way easier instead of you having to make it each time. So thank you for watching this video and this tutorial. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click my subscribe button for more videos like this. I hope everyone is having an awesome day, and I will see everyone in the next video. Bye guys!